All right, in this set of videos, we're going to tackle the last big major topic in regards to finding out how to do integrals. So we're still talking about areas under the curve, but really we're just going to do it in kind of abstract way of having the integral sign and figure out how to find an antiderivative. So just as a quick review of something we learned earlier in the year, all right, chain rule. Chain rule says that if we try to take the derivative of some function or some composition function, this g is inside of the f. The way we do that is we work from the outside in. So we take the derivative of the f part first, and we keep the g on the inside the exact same. And then we move into the inside. Now we take the derivative of the g function, and we get g prime next. So that was the chain rule, and we saw we could kind of chain multiple things together, and you can have a bunch of different derivatives. Right? But this is the basic idea. If you take the derivative of this composition of functions, you get that right-hand side. And now what we're going to figure out is how to take the antiderivative or the integral of that type of function. All right, so if it's already given to us like this, all right, well, this is the exact right-hand side from the last slide. So if we do an integral or an antiderivative, we go backwards from our differentiation. So this was the right-hand side. It becomes the left-hand side from our derivative notation. And of course, you always add a plus c because there can always be some constant at the end. But the trick for us when we're doing this, if I wrote it out like this, it's kind of obvious that this is the backwards chain rule. With the process we're going to go through is figuring out a way to kind of see this left-hand side within a problem, figure out what the f is and the g is, and kind of put them together to the right-hand side. So talk about the general strategy. All right, this is called substitution, is the way you'll hear it. You call it substitution, or some people call it use substitution. But that's the strategy for trying to undo these chain rule problems and find the antiderivative. So our general strategy is this, and it's all going to be in words here. And in the next video, we'll start doing the examples. But the first thing we do is find the g of x in our problem. That's going to be the thing that's inside of another function. And we're going to pick g of x so that its derivative is somewhere else in the problem. So that's kind of figuring out the chain rule part that happened when we're undoing this derivative. This part, step 2, is probably really confusing for now, but when we start doing examples, you know what I mean? So we're going to call the g of x function, whatever this big expression is, we're just going to call it the letter u, and that's the reason it's called use substitution the most. And we're going to replace that kind of complicated expression g of x with just a single letter u, and that'll make our whole problem a bit simpler. There's some extra things we'll have to do to kind of make sure everything makes sense. But once we replace the complicated g of x with just the single letter u, hopefully we can take the antiderivative just like we did before using power rules or like trig functions or something like that. And then when we were finally done, we had to make sure our original variable was x, not u, so we had to replace u again with the g of x that we had up here. So that's the general strategy in words. We'll start doing examples now and kind of seeing this process as we go through it.